forth. My feet are about hip width apart. Just going back and forth. Reach up towards the ceiling, and then let your arms fall back. Up towards the ceiling, and then back down. Breathe up and down. Good, back and forth. Again, feet are just hip width apart. If you want to, you can, have them a little further apart if that's more comfortable. It's totally up to you. We're just warming up our upper body. And breathe. Good. Breathe. Last one, up. Put your hands on your hips. I want you to turn from your torso and just look over your shoulder. Twist again from your torso. Your hips are driving forward still. So your hips are not turning with you. You're only turning from your torso. Inhale. Exhale as you twist. I always think of exhaling as I'm twisting to make room for the twist, if that makes sense. That's how I always remember to exhale before I do any big twist. So I make sure I kind of just empty out those lungs. One more on each side. And back. All right, come to the end of your mat. Same thing as before, we're just reaching up towards the ceiling. We're going to hinge from our hips forward, bend your knees as much as you need to as you come down into a plank. Now from plank, we're going to push back into down dog. And today, my knees are going to be more bent because I kind of hurt the back of my knee. So you'll be watching as I'm doing down dog. All my down dogs today are going to be more bent leg. So if at any point your hamstring is ever bothering you, always feel free to do a more modified version like I am and bend those knees. So I'm not going to straighten them out, but feel free to straighten out your hamstrings too. Remember, you want to keep your tailbone, whether your knees are bent or straight, untucked. You don't want to have that tailbone tucked. So make it work for you. Breathe. Come forward. You're going to go onto your forearms and do the same thing. Push back. Now this one I might straighten out a little bit more because it's not so intense on my hamstrings, so it feels a little more comfortable. Breathe. Rock forward into a nice low plank. Bring your arms up, back into down dog. Again, knees bent or straight. I am just modifying all of my down dogs today to bend to bent knees. Breathe, come forward. Come down onto your forearms again. Back into it, dolphin. Honestly, dolphin is one of my favorite poses. It is probably one of my favorite ones for a back opener. I love dolphin pose. Good, come forward. Back up. Down dog. Now we're getting our arms very warmed up. Breathe. Down, let's go down one more time. Dolphin. Breathe. Good, and forward. Drop your knees. Come into a bit of an active child's pose, so you're just stretching it out. And then you're going to come forward, open to the right side. Bring it down, come back, open to the left. All right, and back, and open to the right. Back, and open to the left. Now to make it a little bit harder on our core, you're going to come up off those knees. You'll know how I love those floating knees. It's going to look a little bit different though, because you're going to be in a plank, and you're going to come back into a loaded position, and then you're going to come forward, open to the right, bring it down, come back into a loaded knee hover, kind of like you're doing child's pose but loaded, right? Open to the left. Breathe, back down, go back, come forward, rotate. Go completely at your own pace throughout these. Breathe, forward, open, down, and back. Rotate, back, and rotate. Breathe. Let's do one more on each side. Down, forward, rotate. Good. Back, forward, rotate. All right, breathe. Drop those knees. Go to just a standard child's pose. Rest your head and breathe. Let your body just relax. Focus on that inhale for 2 seconds and exhale for 4 seconds. Breathe and come up. Now we're going to go into our first hip rotation, little ab crunch. Now because I can't quite straighten out my knee, since my right back side of my knee is bothering me a little bit, I'm going to show you, I'm probably going to do the modified version, but I'm going to show you the harder variation. I'm just not going to use my right knee, so you'll see the opposite knee that I normally do to show demonstrations. But like I said, I'm going to do the modified version, so I'll also show you that. So I'll show you on this side so you can see it, but then I'll switch. So the modified version is these standard rotations that we always do, or not always do, but we've done a lot of. These, which are hard enough on their own. You can also come into a loaded position, rotate in, and back out into a loaded position. Now the hardest variation is going to be, and I'm going to do it on this side because this knee can stay bent. I would come into a rotation, so my leg is going to come, just like I first started. Now the harder part is keeping this leg lifted and coming, straightening this back leg. I'll show you on this side, I can do it for one. So let's rotate. It's kind of on the ground, or it's hovering right above the ground. If you can keep it hovering, that's way harder and it'll make your abs work a lot more. So keep that in mind, and then you'll straighten it out. Okay? Now if that is too much, this is the exact same thing that we're basically doing, knee in and up. So that is also another variation that you can do. Again, I'm going to have to do it modified just because of the back of my knee. So choose which one you want to do. We're going to stay all on the same side. We're going to do 10 per side. So if you finish the 10 before I do, go ahead and move on to the other side. Okay, one more time, running it down. Either coming in here, hover knee, bring it back. Either on your knees and bringing it in, or the hardest variation, bringing it in, keeping it hovering above the ground, and straightening that back leg. Okay? If you're doing that one where you straighten the back leg, you'll come down, reset from the very beginning with every rep. All right, let's get to it. All right, remember, rotate from the hip. Try not to open up to the side. You want to keep it controlled. All right, also notice I'm tucking the tailbone just a little bit. Rotating in, lifting off if you're doing the harder variation, and then coming back. Breathe, reset, rotate again. Y'all know I love this move. I haven't done it in a while. I realized that and I was like, well, I'm for sure going to do it tonight. Breathe, bring it in, bring it out. Make sure you breathe in and out of the movement. Breathe, push the ground away. By pushing the ground away, you're also creating a little, it's amazing how much a little space, a little more space for your leg to rotate into this position and back out. Breathe. Good. I definitely lost count on mine, so I'm going to call this my 10. All right, and then I'm going to move on to the other side. Go ahead and move on to the other side if you have not already. Breathe, bring it in. And out. Nice and controlled. Remember, if you can keep that foot hovering off the ground, that is the real killer. So if you can do it, try your hardest to do it. If you can't though, don't worry. It's a hard enough movement on its own. Good. Good, keep going. Almost there. Last one. Bring it back into child's pose. Drop your head. Breathe. 2 seconds in, 4 seconds out. This is the other variation of child's pose that I like doing. It's just with my hands going in the opposite direction. It feels super relaxing on my shoulders, so that's why I like to do this one. And breathe. Two more breaths in. Good. All right, coming forward. Again, we're gonna go right back into it. We got 10 more on each side. So start on whichever side you started on first. I did my left, so I'm gonna do my left again. And remember, it can be modified, it can be the hovering knees version or the hardest version, whatever you want to do for this round. Okay, so start with that rotation, bring the knee in, let that knee hover, bring it out. Remember, notice what your hips are doing. Tuck that tailbone just a little bit, rotate that knee, bring that foot in, and bringing it out, all while trying to keep those hips relatively level. Breathe. Good control. Good, we're halfway. We're doing 2 rounds of this. So after this round, you won't be doing these again. That's the good news. But then we get to move on to something else. Good, almost there. Last one. Switch sides. Rotate it. Bring it in. Breathe. Good, keep that control. I know you're feeling tired, so make sure you keep holding that control. Good, we're almost there. 2 more. And sink back into child's pose. Breathe and rest. Breathe in, come all the way up. Now, yes, we only did 2 rounds of that specifically, but this next round is going to combine that movement into a bit of a side bend. So I'm going to face you as I do it, because I think it's going to be a little bit easier. So what you're going to be doing is on all fours, again, here, you're going to rotate this in, but you're going to set your foot down. So you're going to set your foot down, you're going to come up, and then you're doing a side bend with control. Come down as slow as you can, look up towards that hand, and then I want you to lift and act like there's a string on this hand pulling you straight up until you come back into the upright position. So you're pulling, I'm going to lift off my fingers, but I want my obliques to be doing all of the work, okay? Coming back forward, come down, rotate it out, bring it back in. Come up, lower down slowly. Now, this is a fun extra, but if you are, it doesn't work in this particular situation, but if you're at home trying to do a workout, hold a book, and I'm gonna shout out Kelly because she gave me the idea. Hold it by well, now I can't remember, the bind of the book, the bind of the book in this hand, and give yourself a little bit of weight. This is a great exercise to do at home, okay? Hard to do right now because we're combining so many movements, although if you want to try to make it work, you could. So you're gonna come in, go ahead and start with that first side. We're gonna do all the same side. If you were holding a book, you would just keep it, your wrist and shoulder stacked over one another. Lift up, straighten out, come down. I love this movement, and it's one I do with my in-home, like personal training clients all the time. Love this one for obliques. You don't need the added weight to get a great exercise from it. Just do it really slow and controlled. Bring it back. Bring it forward. Down. You like how I'm like air holding a book as I do this? Like I don't need to do that, but I'm just, that's for you, Kelly. Okay, I'm holding the book up. Come down. Rotate it out. 3 more. Up. Rotate. And up. Down. Rotate. Come up. Breathe. All about that breath and that control. Coming down, rotate it out. Let's do one more. Rotate it in. Come up. Come down. Good. Rotate it back. Let's switch sides. Rotate. Come up. With control, come down. Breathe, come up. Down. Rotate it back. Rotate it in. Good. To the side. And then up. Make sure you're not like caving forward. Your hand's not here. Your hand should be nice and in line with your knee where it is bent. Breathe down. Rotate. Rotate in. Up. Down. Breathe. Rotate. Rotate back. Up. And down. Up. We got this, guys. 3. Breathe up. To the side. Breathe and down. Up, 2 more. Up. To the side. Lift. Let's go down. Last one, rotate in. Last one of this set, I should say. Good. Come down. And up. And come forward, bring that leg back. Go into a nice child's pose. If you want to keep it active, you can kind of do it from side to side and walk around. Or you can just hold a standard child's pose, whatever feels best. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Take a few more breaths. All right, and go ahead and come up. Now we're changing the movement a little bit, but we're kind of going with this theme. Well, moving from movement to movement, but changing it ever so much. We're taking out the hip rotation because we've already done 3 rounds of that at this point with the last exercise. So now we're only going to be doing to the side, but I want to take it up a level, just a little bit. Now if you have like a throw pillow or a yoga block, you could put the yoga block on the ground to make it a little higher. Or if you can't go as low as I'm going to go, just do what we were just doing, hand on the ground. Now if you wanted more of a challenge, when you come down, you're going to come down close to your elbow and then come back up all the way from the ground. All right, if elbow is too far, come down onto your hand and then just go deeper in it. Actually, I prefer y'all do it this way before going straight onto your elbow because you don't want to get stuck. So put your hand on the ground, you know, do the regular way we did it, and then I want you to just drop your elbow back. Okay, so you go down lower, as low as you can go, and then I want you to lift from there. Okay, so come down, hand comes down, elbow goes back, going as deep as you can, and then lifting from there. Okay, back down again. Hand comes down, elbow comes back, lift from there. Good. Hand comes down, elbow comes back, going as far as I can, lifting. And yes, you can push off the ground a little bit. If you can avoid doing that, that's better, but it's okay if you need to give yourself a little bit of a push. Breathe. Back down. Excellent. Let's go again, 2 more. Breathe, 1 more. Woo. Switch out your legs. Other side. All right, let's go down. Starting again, see how low you feel, comfortable going. Bring that elbow back, and then straight up from there. Good, down. Elbow back, straight up from there. Breathe, down. Elbow back, straight up from there. I like this awkward arm that I have when I do that. I'm trying to do that so I don't push with it at all. I'm just kind of, I feel like a statue moving in place. All right, come down. Elbow goes back. Breathe. Feel those obliques working. Lift up. Good. Let's do 3 more. Good. 2 more. Down. And up. Now for real, we're just doing 2 rounds of those. We're not going to do a 3rd one because I want to have time for us to work on something other than our obliques. So go into a child's pose. If you're feeling like I don't need to, you can go onto your back. But take a couple of breaths, whether you're in child's pose or you're on your back. The next set of positions will be on your back. So take a few breaths. Close your eyes if you need to. Deep breathing. 2 seconds in. 4 seconds out. Breathe. Deep breathing. All right, this next one, y'all can still relax a little bit because I'm going to talk you through it. There's a couple of different variations that I can show you. The hardest is going to be something that you do without momentum and without your legs bending. So what we're going to be doing fully is, it's kind of called this curl up. So you're going to be in a seated position, and I can straighten out my leg without it hurting, so I'm probably going to have my legs straight. I probably won't do the modified version unless it starts to bother me. With that being said, my legs will still have like a soft bend in them, so they're never going to be like fully straight. You're going to do like I said, a curl up. So I want you to imagine, for once, a bad posture when you're trying to reach your toes. So it's like you see the rounded spine like that. This is the one time where I'm going to encourage you to do that kind of movement instead of having everything perfectly straight and bending forward. So you're going to curl back as slow as you can, and then you're going to curl up. okay, towards those toes. Don't need to reach the toes, you don't need to touch them at all. But this is the motion. So you have to control it on the way down, compress, straighten out, press that low back into the ground, and then curl back up. Now, if your legs are moving too much and they want to lift, then you can do the exact same thing with your legs bent like this. Now, they're not like bent up here, but just slightly bent. Curl down, like so, and then curl up. It'll make it a little bit easier. If that is too much, then have your legs bent and give yourself a little momentum. But I don't want you to do like a ton of momentum. Still try to keep it controlled, but you can kind of use your arms to help you rock up. You can even let your legs come down and kind of rock up gently like that, okay? So let's get to it. I'm gonna start with that first variation that I showed you, the hardest of them all. So remember, you're curling down. Imagine it's like you're trying to put vertebrae by vertebrae on the ground. Slow and controlled, stretch out, curl up, use those abs, reach towards the toes, okay? Curl back down with control. And if you started with this harder variation and you find that you can't hold the form well, no shame in bringing those knees up, okay? Do what's best for you, not what you want to do. So sometimes what we want to do is not what's actually best for us. So we need to be able to be okay with modifying when we need to. Breathe. You will get an actual better workout if you modify. All right. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Up. Breathe. Up. Let's do 2 more. With control. Last one up. And down. Now don't hit me too much, but we're going to take a couple of breaths, but we're going to go right into a hollow hold. So very similar concept in a sense, that you're going to be having that slight curve of your spine. You can hold it in place, or if you want a little bit harder, a little bit more of a challenge, rock as you hold this hollow hold. So let me talk you through it. Now I don't let my back, if you can see it, I have space in my low back. I have to push, engage those abs, tuck that tailbone under. Low back is glued to the floor the entire movement, okay? It should not come off the ground. Readjust if you feel it move. You need to have it on the ground. You're gonna bring your knees into your chest. You're gonna bring your chest up. So use those abs, those upper abs, lift that chest up, extend the legs out and hold, okay? Go ahead and get into that position. If you want it harder, you can add a rock. The hard part about the rock is that you have to hold this position the whole time. To make it even harder, put your hands overhead, whether you're holding it still or you're rocking. All right, this is one of my favorite moves to do. Honestly, I love a hollow hold. Make sure that chest is lifted up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And between those two, we're going to do those back to back. I want you to drop your knees from side to side while keeping your shoulders on the ground. Breathe. Back and forth. Excellent. Now, I think it was last week I talked about doing Turkish get-ups or partial Turkish get-ups. And if you were watching that class last Wednesday, the roll-ups that we are doing this class actually help with the Turkish get-up and vice versa. So those two exercises have a lot to do with one another, because in a Turkish get-up, you're here and you have to curl. You're going a little bit in a different direction, but it's the same idea where you're having to roll back down slowly. So if you're wanting to get better at Turkish get-ups, these roll-ups that we're going to do help with that. All right, we're gonna start back with those roll-ups. So get into the position, harder, or maybe a little bit more modified, whatever you need to do. Go ahead and come up, roll up all the way, roll back down with control. Can any of y'all feel as you're going back down? I can always feel the point where I start to lose control a little bit of my muscles, like I just kind of want to drop. I can always feel in that specific spot where I'm a little bit weaker. Do y'all have that same kind of spot? Do you hit that spot and you're like, there it is, muscles aren't working anymore? Breathe back and forth. Remember, bend your knees if you need to. Slow and controlled. Excellent. Roll back down. I like this one because it really hits the whole top to lower abs. Breathe. 2 more, my friends. Up. Roll back down. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Last one down. Ooh, good. Take a few breaths before we go into that hollow hold. Breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, press that low back into the ground. Bring those knees up. Bring the chest up. Extend it out. Hold here, or add that little rock if you want to make it just a little harder. Now I really feel like a boat. I always feel like a boat in this pose, but now I really do. Keep going. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, breathe. Sometimes it's easier for me to just rock all the way up than lay back. Lie back on your back though if you're rocked up like I did. Keep your shoulders on the ground and just let your legs twist again from side to side. We are working that low back as well. Breathe back and forth. Breathe. We have a 3rd round of those lovely roll-ups, which I really can't help but think of fruit roll-ups when I say that. And these are not nearly as fun as eating a fruit roll-up, so I am sorry for that, that connection. You do the roll-ups so you can eat roll-ups. That's going to be my new motto in class. Breathe. All right, y'all ready for this last round? Let's knock it out. Okay, first up, our lovely non-fruit roll-ups. Lean forward, roll back, all the way. Breathe, come up. Roll back. Remember, keep that control. Roll back. Breathe up. You're halfway done. We have 4 more, including this one. Good, 3 more. Do it, almost done. And up, back down, then into our last hollow hold for today. Take a second, breathe. 2 more breaths in. On this exhale, press that low back into the ground, bring your knees up, chest up, extend those legs, extend the arms overhead, or keep them by your side and hold, either rocking or static. Breathe, hold. Remember to keep that chest lifted. Don't let it sag down, lift it up. Breathe, hold. We're gonna hold this one for a little bit longer. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, drop it down. Rock those knees from side to side. Let them just fall to one side and stay there. Arms are like a cactus or out like a T. Make sure both of your shoulder blades are on the ground. And just breathe. All right, go ahead and switch to the opposite side. Let those knees just fall. Again, both shoulders stay on the ground, arms like a cactus or a T. Breathe nice and deep. Legs back up to the middle. I want you to sit all the way up. Don't worry, you don't have to roll up. You can use your arms to help you sit up. Let's come into a 90-90 position, so letting our legs fall to the side. Your arms can be behind you. Both legs should be making a lovely 90-degree angle, like so. And then you're going to take your arm of whichever, this leg is in front since this one's in the back. I am going to twist towards this leg a little bit. And so I want to add in a nice twist. Sorry, I keep moving because you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing in a second. So I'm going to have this opposite arm of this front leg, and I am going to twist around. So I'm twisting from my torso. I'm going to try to put both hands on the ground. Breathe again, twisting from the torso. Breathe. Good. Hold that breath. Since this is my right leg that's in front, my right arm is going to go down. If you are on your left side, then you will put your left arm down. So I'm going to come onto my forearm of my right leg, my right arm. My left hand is going to be on the ground, and I am going to attempt to bring this one also onto the ground if I feel comfortable and able. Breathe. And hold here. If you feel like this is good, you don't feel like going further, then stay here. If it feels like it's too much, then go back to the hand, whatever, like mine, the left hand coming up before it went down, come back to that. If that's too much, go back to both hands being on the ground instead of forearms. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can walk these hands out and put your head on the ground. You can take it even deeper and look towards your, for me again, my right side. I can turn my cheek to look towards my right arm. Alright, slowly come up. And again, big shout out to Yoga House Bernie because I saw her do this combo of movements and I loved it. So this is a big shout out to her because I've done this movement for a long time, but I never connected it in that way, and I love it now. All right, you're gonna rotate your knees. You don't have to adjust like me, but I'm just rotating my knees to the other side. So now it's my left leg. And I'm gonna twist around. Same thing, bring my hands first. Breathe. You might find that like one side feels a lot tighter than the other side. And so maybe you can't go down as deep, that's fine. Breathe. Again, because this is my left leg in the front, I'm coming down on my left arm first. Breathe. I'm going to start coming down onto my right arm, if I can. Breathe. And again, if you want to go a little bit deeper, try to bring that head onto the ground and then try to look away from your leg. Or for mine, looking towards my left arm. Slowly start to untwist and come all the way back up, and y'all are done.